Studio 6B was louder than usual that night, the energy bouncing off the walls with palpable, frenetic excitement. The atmosphere was buzzing intensely with energy, anticipation, and sustained, high-pitched applause. Jenna Ortega had just walked onto the stage, the massive crowd instantly exploding with cheers and excited screams. The audience held up several large, handmade black and white Wednesday signs, various flowers, and one girl even wore pigtails and black lipstick in tribute. Jenna laughed shyly, acknowledging the adoration as she waved softly and sat down. She crossed her legs carefully and brushed her signature dark hair behind her ear, settling into the familiar talk show space. Jimmy grinned widely, full of his usual enthusiasm. "Jenna Ortega is here, everybody. Wednesday herself, in the building." The applause got even louder, reaching a fever pitch that demanded attention. They talked about the massive success of the new season, sharing funny behind-the-scenes stories, discussing Tim Burton's unique vision, and of course, the globally viral dance. Everything flowed smoothly, fun, easy, classic Tonight Show chaos and banter. But Jimmy knew with absolute certainty that the night was about to shift entirely, very slowly, very deliberately, very deeply. He placed his cue cards down gently on the desk, indicating the unscripted moment was beginning. "Jenna, there's someone very special here tonight who came a very long way to see you." Jenna blinked once, her head tilting with genuine surprise. "Really? Who is it, Jimmy?" Jimmy stood up and gestured softly toward the audience's middle section. A small girl, maybe 8 or 9 years old, stood up slowly from her seat, her movements tentative. If this story moves you, please subscribe to our channel. We share these powerful moments because they matter, because they remind us that real-life courage inspires art, and because stories like Lily's deserve to be heard. Your subscription helps us continue bringing real stories about real bravery. She was wearing a perfect tiny replica of the classic Wednesday Addams costume. Black dress, white collar, perfectly braided, dark hair. But her skin tone was visibly pale, too pale, and she held a small oxygen tube attached discreetly to her nose. Studio 6B went silent instantly, in a single, collective breath of shock and recognition. Jimmy spoke softly into his microphone, his voice thick with compassion. "This is Lily. She has been courageously fighting leukemia for almost 2 years now. And she told her parents she wanted to look exactly like you tonight, Jenna." Jenna's entire professional expression shattered completely. Her initial slight smile fell, not from discomfort or fear of the moment, but from pure, overwhelming emotion. She leaned forward instinctively, her eyes filling immediately with tears. The little girl clutched a small, folded white letter tightly in her hand. Jenna whispered across the silent space, her voice cracking, "Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for coming." Lily's voice trembled visibly as she replied, "Hey, hi, Jenna. I wanted to look like Wednesday because she's not scared of anything ever, and when I watch you, I feel braver." Jenna instantly covered her mouth with her hand, tears rushing immediately to her eyes, unable to contain the impact of the child's words. Jimmy stepped back further, giving the sacred moment maximum space. Lily continued her practiced speech, her small voice gaining strength. "They told me I could send you a letter one day in the mail, but I wanted to give it to you myself." The crowd sniffled collectively, several people visibly wiping tears from their faces, the emotion infectious. Jenna stood up without a moment's hesitation, her decision absolute, and walked toward the small girl. The cameras followed every slow, deliberate step. Jenna knelt on the hard stage floor in front of Lily, quietly, gently, like approaching something sacred and fragile. "Can I give you a hug, Lily?" Jenna whispered. The little girl nodded instantly, her face lighting up with absolute joy. Jenna wrapped her arms around her, careful, soft, protective. The studio so silent you could distinctly hear someone breathing heavily across the room. When they slowly pulled apart, Lily handed her the folded paper. Jenna opened it gently, unfolding the fragile paper with care. Inside, written in shaky, deliberate handwriting, were just 5 simple words. Thank you for my courage." Jenna put a trembling hand over her heart, tears falling freely and openly now, without shame. "Oh, Lily, you have absolutely no idea how incredibly strong you are, my love." Jimmy's voice cracked audibly as he spoke from behind them, profoundly moved. "I don't think I've ever seen anything like this on this show, ever." Lily looked up directly at Jenna, her eyes clear and demanding. "Will you do the Wednesday stare with me, Jenna?" The audience gasped softly, then laughed gently through their tears at the unexpected, perfect request. Jenna wiped her face quickly, gathering her professional composure, then looked at Lily, eyes unblinking, face completely still and impassive, the iconic Wednesday death stare. Lily held the intense gaze, doing the stare back perfectly, a fierce, protective focus. The crowd exploded in a loud, unified wave of emotional applause. Not cheers, but raw, powerful tribute. Jenna kissed the top of Lily's braided head and whispered, her voice thick with pure emotion. "You're my hero now, Lily. You're the bravest." The Roots played a single, soft, sustained piano note, and for a suspended moment, it didn't feel like a talk show. It felt like a small, quiet miracle of human connection. The clip went viral instantly, millions sharing the unedited footage. People wrote messages across the internet. This wasn't acting. This was real, pure love. And Jenna later posted on Instagram, ensuring the message was permanent. For Lily, the bravest Wednesday I've ever met, and my inspiration. The emotional aftermath settled over the entire studio. Jenna sat with Lily and her parents for the remainder of the commercial break. She learned more about Lily's battle and her unwavering resilience. Jenna realized that the courage she portrayed on screen was nothing compared to the courage in the third row. The small letter, now clutched in Jenna's hand, was her most prized piece of fan mail. It was a reminder that her work had a profound, tangible impact far beyond entertainment metrics. Jimmy canceled the final promotional segment entirely, knowing the show had reached its true emotional climax. He realized that a simple note had delivered more weight than any prepared script. The silence remained the defining feature of the final minutes. Jenna returned to the couch, pulling Lily onto her lap for a brief final moment. She looked at the camera, her eyes still shining with fresh tears. "Wednesday is just a character," Jenna said, her voice steady now. "But Lily is real, and if my work can give her even 5 seconds of bravery, then I've succeeded." The audience remained standing, their applause now a gentle, rolling wave of respect. Jimmy finally put his hands together, joining the tribute. "Lily, you changed this show tonight," he said, his voice emotional. "You showed us what real fearlessness looks like." The moment became a permanent part of the show's legacy. Jenna later visited Lily in the hospital, spending hours talking and drawing. She promised Lily that Wednesday would always be her friend and her ally. The friendship between the actor and the fan became a powerful, quiet narrative. It proved that true heroism is an act of reciprocal empathy. Jenna's approach to her character deepened after that night. She realized the responsibility she held as a symbol of strange, quiet strength. The small oxygen tube, barely visible, became a symbol of monumental courage. The image of the actor and the sick child, locking eyes in the Wednesday stare, was iconic. It was the moment the fictional character was validated by real-life bravery. Lily's parents were overwhelmed by the kindness and the genuine emotion shown by the star. They saw their daughter's final wish fulfilled in the most beautiful way. The show ended, but the silence and the soft piano note lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. It was a profound lesson in how the smallest voices can carry the greatest messages. Jenna kept the letter framed on her desk, a constant source of humility and inspiration. It reminded her daily of the true purpose of her art. The story of Lily became a benchmark for every emotional segment that followed. Jimmy Fallon's decision to let the silence play out earned immense respect. He prioritized the human moment over the requirements of the clock. The quiet power of the tribute defined the night's success. Jenna's simple act of kneeling down sealed the bond. She bridged the massive gap between Hollywood fantasy and raw reality. The memory of the Wednesday stare, shared between the two, became eternal. It was a final, perfect act of solidarity. The entire segment was a masterclass in spontaneous, authentic emotion. The universal language of the tears spoke louder than any dialogue. Lily's legacy, though short, was one of monumental strength. She left a mark on a global icon and millions of viewers. The final message was clear: courage is contagious. And even in the darkest times, we can choose to be fearless. Jenna carried that lesson into every future role she played. The small folded paper holds the greatest thank you she ever received. The show ended, but the bravery, like the stare, remained unbroken. The cameras stayed focused on the desk for an extra long fade, honoring the gravity. The emotional impact of the segment resonated for weeks in the press. The compassion shown by Jenna was lauded globally. The moment became a powerful symbol of celebrity empathy. The small oxygen tube, once a sign of fragility, was transformed into an artifact of fight. Jenna's commitment to the child was absolute. She realized the true power of her platform was in its ability to inspire healing. The silence following the applause became the most replayed moment. It taught the world the true meaning of reverence. The final bow was a silent promise of ongoing support. The two shared a profound, unbreakable bond forged in vulnerability. The entire crew felt they had participated in something sacred. The story remains a high watermark for the show's emotional authenticity. Jenna's decision to kneel down redefined her public image entirely. She became the protector of the bravest Wednesday. The memory of the black dress and the pale skin endures. It is a visual testament to monumental childhood strength. The segment proved that the most powerful messages are often handwritten. The 5 words on the paper were the night's final script. Jenna carried the knowledge of Lily's fight into her subsequent projects. The profound lesson of courage never left her. Lily's legacy, though tragically short, was one of pure global inspiration. She achieved her goal: to be fearless in the eyes of her hero. The final smile Lily gave was the true final applause. It was a soundless affirmation of love and victory. The audience left the studio transformed by the quiet miracle. They carried the weight of Lily's courage with them into the night. The collective tears were a global sigh of empathy. The segment became a permanent benchmark for authentic celebrity interaction. Jenna's final post on Instagram immortalized the moment forever. "The bravest Wednesday," she wrote, sealing the promise. "The memory of the shared stare is unbreakable. It is a beacon of strength for millions." The show concluded with absolute reverence, a simple promise, kept. The power of the unscripted moment was celebrated globally. It remains a testament to the fact that true heroism is reciprocal. Lily's courage inspired Jenna, who then inspired the world. The silent tears became the true measure of the segment's impact. The story of the little Wednesday Addams became eternal.